There is a radius around our truest self, and this radius has layers. If we just trust somebody a little bit, if they're an acquaintance, then they come in a little bit, get within our radius. If we figure that they are a friend, even if it's not true, closer to our true self. And if we consider them either a family member or somebody like a brother or sister, we let them into our internal radius to where they're getting close to our true self. But what we also have to realize is that our true self is not fully conceived by us. It is only our view of the true self that is within us that we create the radius around. Our subconscious and soul's mission and spirit has a little bit different tinge to it than most people think. Because there's not very many people that have figured themselves out completely, especially when we consider the vast majority of society. We are who we are, but we're constantly trying to figure out exactly what that is. You're going to find toxic people in your life. You're going to find people that will drag you down, that are not beneficial to your spiritual, emotional, or societal growth. You're going to find people that feed off of you, that want things from you without giving as much back as they should. You're going to find people that seem like acquaintances, but they try to read you as much as possible so they can get as close as possible to use you as a resource for their own lives. Toxic relationships are difficult because they're not toxic when they're far off, but when they're very close and they are causing us immense emotional instability or various negativities in our lives. That's when they're the most toxic. When we really let somebody into our in the radius and closest to our conception of our true self, because our conception of our true self is around who we truly are. So the most toxic relationships are ones where we let them in too much, and they are people who want to take advantage of us, who want to use us as a resource, somebody who is not concerned with our well-being but their own. When we allow these people to get in very close, that's when we start to feel the poison of their presence. We start to feel the animosity. We start to feel the selfishness and greed of their presence. And by then, we've just divulged so much. We've counted on them for so long, and we've loved them to whatever extent that it feels like taking away that poison is taking away a part of ourselves. Not just removing something from our lives, but certain people become so entrenched in who we are and our relationship with them that to pull them out is kind of like pulling a tooth. You've been chewing with that tooth for so long, you expect it to be there, you want it to be there, you're used to it being there, but it's infected and it has to be removed. Very difficult thing to do. And that's why it's good to notice toxicity early on. It's good to notice that poisonous relationship early on, because if we don't, then it's going to be way harder later on to extract that tooth. If we want to take this analogy further, we could say that a tooth might get a cavity, but things we can use to prevent that, brushing your teeth, using mouthwash, flossing, these can also be analogous to us having a completely third-party observance of ourselves and our relationships. If you look at yourself and the people that you know, the people that you love, and the people that are around you, if you look at it from a third-person point of view, and which is always good to do, you have to ask yourself: does this look like a healthy thing without an attachment, which the attachment may be what we have? Does it look like a healthy thing from the outside? Another good way to figure out if a relationship is poisonous or toxic or anything like that is to put a filter between us and the world. You only allow those close in that you really trust. Many of us do this naturally, but not everybody does. People, in the past, myself included, just want to say who they are. They want to let people in. They want to. We want to. allow somebody we're communicating with as close as possible sometimes because either we're lonely or there's a pit in us that we want to fill, or perhaps we're just naive. There's a lot of things that can factor into why we let people that we haven't really filtered close to us. That's when the filters are down. When the filters are up, you look at this person. You figure out why they're saying what they say. The relationship that you and that person have, you diagnose that, look at that. And then finally, you have to think about, what's this relationship going to be looking in long term? And is this going to be beneficial for us long term? Not even just you, but the other person long term. Because not everybody's out there to manipulate you. There are degrees of manipulation, but most people don't have that in mind. Some of those people have an idea, they reflexively try to use you in their life, but there's very few people who straight up are toxic, know what they want from you, and are trying to get it, not subconsciously but consciously. There's not a whole lot of people like that, but they do exist. What you're dealing with is your subconscious related to their subconscious. So they might be trying to do something to you in your life that they don't even understand themselves. They're reacting from former experiences. They're also reacting from motives that they don't really understand about themselves. They don't really know they have those motives. And a lot of the time, they just don't see themselves like we don't see ourselves completely. So they act in a way that is completely uneducated or unexperienced because they haven't become a part of those experiences. They haven't become a part of that knowledge within themselves. So even a person who is acting erratically might find themselves not understanding why they do it. And that's a lot of toxic relationships. People, a lot of the time, don't understand what they're doing, why they're doing it. But it just happens. It comes out of themselves because of something they want to express, understand, or something they value or fear. Those can bring actions toward you or the outer world from your environment without them actually planning it out. So it's not always a nefarious thing. Sometimes it's it's the unconscious working. I am who I am. What you have to realize about your life is that the greatest favor you can do yourself is to figure out exactly who you are, why you do what you do, and this is also so you're not toxic for somebody else. Who you are, why you do what you do, why the people around you are around you, why do you know various people, how did you meet, how did you connect. A lot of our encounters, a lot of our conversations, a lot of our friendships and loves really use evidence. We can evaluate this evidence to point to our motivations. If we don't know our motivations, say, okay, why do I have these relationships? Why do this and that? Then you can understand your own motivations and perhaps change them so that you can be a person who is self-willed instead of self-inflicted. And really, it goes both ways for most relationships. Most people just don't know their motivation. They want, but they don't know why they want. They do, but they don't know why they do. So the best thing that you can do for yourself, and really everybody else, is to try to understand yourself. Why do you have these motivations? Why do you do what you do? Examine them in a vacuum. Try to get rid of those emotional attachments of, oh, I'm this person, or, oh, I know this person because of that, because I have and ultimately it comes down to attachment a lot of the time, not most of the time, but a lot. Analyze what you look like on a piece of paper if you were to write down your life. That would be a great benefit to everybody, yourself and everybody around you. I'm not speaking to those manipulators who want to manipulate people. I'm talking to those who just don't know their own motivations and affect those around them without knowing why, and other people affecting them without understanding other people's either motivations or influence upon their lives. It's a long road to understanding yourself, but it's the best thing you can do. And a lot of the time, we're just naked. We are unaware of what's going on around us as far as our emotional sphere, the societal sphere, mental sphere, everything that's going on within us and out of us. There is that there is that danger always, because until we delve deep within ourselves, we will not find the answers. We will not find the person that we think that we are. We will not find the ties that we feel like we have with others. We're groping in the dark. And it's best that we stop that as soon as possible, because it is an endeavor that draws upon our mission, our goals, who we can be. A lot of the time, what we can be and our potential is pushed to the side when we have attachments, or we feel like we have to act in response to people. And whatever you want to do in life, or whoever you think you are, never think that you've capped out. Keep on going towards that. Unveiling more and more within yourself, understanding your environment and your relation to it more and more. You are who you are. I am who I am. At any rate, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was interesting. So I'm going to actually give 2 plugs. So if you want to contact me on Facebook Messenger, because I do have a Facebook account that's open to everybody, feel free to contact me at www.facebook.com/hunter.salazar, HUNTER.SALAZAR. Now, if you want to support me, now that I'm going to be pushing my Patreon more, because I really don't mention it very often, and I'm actually going to be creating things for people. I'm going to start doing rituals for people. I'm going to start making things connected to graveyards for people. I'm very attuned to graveyard work. And if you have a ritual to request, I might charge $50. That's just for time and expenses, but I'm not trying to make a lot of money. Or if you have an item that you would like me to make, whether it be a patent, whether it be a little chest of grave dirt with sigils, whatever you have in mind, just run it by me. And you can contact me on Facebook. If you want to support my work, you like what I do, go to www.patreon.com/darkrealist. Capital D, capital R. You want to support my work and just give on there. I put all my podcasts and YouTube videos on there, and I share a lot of other things. So if you want to support me there, that would be great. But understand, as we move forward, I'm going to start making this I'm going to start amping up my channel, podcasts, and my social media. So that, because I haven't really made money off the stuff I do, to be honest with you guys. And I do have a regular job, and I am in college. I've been in college for too long. So it would just be a little bit extra for time and expenses when it comes to money. I have no desire to charge too much, and I really want people to understand the dead and connect with them. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was interesting, and all of you find yourselves and have a wonderful day.